Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed right here on the Nasdaq stock market. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining me this afternoon, we have Joyce, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on Nasdaq-100 technical levels to watch across a couple time frames. Brian, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Jill.
All right, we're in the thick of earnings. We have an election coming up, trying to figure out a cure for COVID-19. There's a lot going on this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a nice move in the interest rate complex as well. The 10-year seems to be breaking out to the upside. It's running right today into its 200-day moving average, so that's going to be a key test. But it's nice to see the broader participation continuing to expand out in groups that have been underperforming, like energy and financials.
Yes, let's take a look at the first chart that you have up here for us so we can get some fresh levels on the Nasdaq-100.
Yeah, so we're looking here at the cash level of the NDX, the cash index, I should say. I'm going to zoom in right now to a 30-minute period time frame here. And you can see we've been pulling back over the last week plus, and I'm going to just do a little annotation here. This to me looks like a bull flag, which is a consolidation, a little bit backwards in price, following an uptrend. We've certainly had an uptrend coming from late September into mid-October. Where we are right now, I think, is pretty key. I have here, even though it's a 30-minute period chart, we're looking at here, this violet-colored line is my 50-day moving average. It's a daily moving average, and it coincides with this price gap right here on the chart. Gaps, as we know, can always act as future levels of support or resistance. In this case, we're pulling back to it, so it's an expected support level. So that coincides with the 11,550 level, the gap, and which is very close to the 50-day average, which is 11,512. So the gap's 11,550, and the 50-day average is 11,512. That's your cluster of technical support right here. It also coincides with the low level of this parallel price channel that we've been pulling back in. So there's three technical levels right here coinciding. That is something to definitely look out for. If we zoom into the daily period chart, filter out some of this noise, you can see today's activity came right down to that level, which is also a high from September. So there's a fourth technical reason why this should act as a cluster of support. Again, we had the uptrend, the pullback, and ideally what we want to see now is resumption of the upside from here. If we break below the 50-day moving average, let's say 2 days in a row closing below it, potentially maybe that would signal that we're in for a bit of a deeper pullback. But right now, still looks relatively constructive.
All right, Brian, as our chief resident market technician here, I want to take a look at Bitcoin. What a week it has been having. Of course, we understand the fundamental side. PayPal's announcement integrating cryptocurrency into the platform certainly lends to the mass adoption argument. And so we want to get your take on technically what the chart is telling us.
Yeah, so this is the daily period chart going over the last 12 months. As you can see, the nice breakout really took place back in July, about July 27th. And we ran up to this level here in August, which is 12,473. Yesterday, we had a nice breakout above that level. So that expected level of resistance on the first test, we blew right through it. And today we're going marginally higher. So very constructive to see this here. You can see also that these lows back in September coincided with the highs in May and June. So prior resistance during this period right here pulled back here in September and acted as support. I've heard many people say that Bitcoin has always acted on very technical, that it responds to expected support and resistance levels, and I would absolutely agree with that. If we look further on the weekly period time frame, bear with me, we can see, if I zoom in a little bit, that we're now approaching these highs from 2019, which is the next level of resistance that we want to see Bitcoin take out for the bulls at least. So that's at 13,851. So very close to that. We're at 13,100 almost today. 13,851 is the next level of expected resistance, which is really close to the all-time highs, which agree marginally. It was not marginally, but it was up at the 20,000 level. But you can see here, this is my monthly chart. We're closing right now. If we can finish here or higher, this will be the second highest monthly close that we've had on record for Bitcoin. The only other higher month was December 17, when Bitcoin ran up to the 19,511 level. So very constructive bullish price action that we're seeing essentially on all time frames. And again, I think right now that weekly period chart is what you want to key in on for the next near-term resistance level, which is up at that 13,748. Again, those are the highs made in 2019.
All right, Brian, great stuff. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Market Reporter at Nasdaq.